Toledo is known for many things. Glass blowing, the largest mural in the country, but one tradition that Toledo holds near and dear to its heart is disappearing before our very eyes. That is until 3 millennial restaurant owners took it upon themselves to revitalize this eclectic art form.
We talked about making this a live music venue because of what it used to be. And then the jazz thing kind of happened organically.
Toledo has such a rich history of jazz and jazz musicians and a jazz culture in our tradition. And we wanted to do our best to match that caliber of talent, match that caliber of quality. And what we're really trying to honor is the history of jazz, the history of Toledo jazz.
Anything that can help strengthen our music scene around here as far as people networking with each other, cutting their teeth if they're just getting started, or maybe they're coming out looking for a band. So to be able to have a stage to bring so many people together that may otherwise not have crossed paths is only going to do good things for the Toledo arts community.
Jazz is back in the Glass City, and judging from the response, it's a welcomed addition to Toledo's nightlife.
Hi everyone, Trevor Dieter, owner of the Brick Bar.
With having the old Murphy's and then revitalizing it and then allowing live jazz music to come back in, what's the response like that you've gotten from local musicians who played here at Murphy's?
Of course. Yeah, that's honestly been my favorite part of this whole thing. It's so thrilling to see individuals that may have already played as part of a group when it was Murphy's, played with Murphy's group. Our percussionist Scott Kretzer that hosts the Jazz Night was one of his original drummers. And then to see, like you said, people that experienced the music and the ambiance of the original Murphy's. Had people that said, remember when we went on our first date here, and they're like back 40 years later, experiencing the same building, different environment, but same music. It's extremely cool. We talked about making this a live music venue because of what it used to be. And then the jazz thing kind of happened organically. A couple of our regular customers that have connections with the jazz community, we started talking about it. We met to see if it would make sense. We kind of put some feelers out to local musicians, and it was like a no-brainer and just kind of blew up. And ironically, it blew up, like you had mentioned, Ottawa Tavern and Lucille's. It kind of all happened around the same time, and there's plenty of room for jazz to come back to downtown.
To be able to have a stage to bring so many people together that may otherwise not have crossed paths is only going to do good things for the Toledo arts community. Hello, my name is Zach Jacobs, and I'm the owner of the Ottawa Tavern. It really came about when I was approached by Devin, the host of Jam Night, and Brad, who's doing our jazz jam on Mondays for us. And they were looking for a home. They were kind of strays out in the wild, looking for a new place to play. And I was just starting to get back into booking. I was finally able to change those gears in my head and talk about live music in here. And they just seemed like they knew, I liked the cut of their jib. They knew what they were talking about. And, it's been outstanding ever since.
Now, it is quite rare to have these jams hosted by such young musicians. It's more so the veterans of the community. What was that like for you to be able to provide this for younger musicians?
It's everything for me, really. That's so much the heart and soul of this place, building from the ground up a music scene and a community. And everybody's got to start somewhere. And, now that there's a stage and a place for kids to come out and really see what some of the older, more experienced musicians can do, and try their hand at it as well. That's really the heart and soul of my Ottawa Tavern, for sure.
Yeah, were you all like around a table in a dark room being like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna blow jazz out of the water and we're gonna all do it at the same time.
No, and honestly, I don't consider us like competing, right? Like we're on different days of the week. There's so much room and there's so much talent in Northwest Ohio and regionally. And honest to God, I was in Toll House a week and a half before for a private birthday party, toured the whole place, and had no clue that was even happening.
And so what we really wanted to do here at Toll House was to give the community a place where, a space that was dedicated to jazz. So Lucille's is a straight up jazz club. We also have blues and Latin jazz, but it's a dedicated jazz space in the city of Toledo that honors the rich history that this community has been missing for more than 10 years. I am Will Lucas, founder and CEO at Toll House, which is the home of Lucille's Jazz Lounge. I grew up going to Rusty's Jazz Club. I was probably started at 19 years old. I built my appreciation for jazz listening to them play. I'm a drummer myself, and to be able to give back to the community a space where our musicians have a stage again, it really means a lot. And so building on the culture that I grew up on, and many of these people in the community who grew up going to Murphy's and remember those days, grew up going to Rusty's and remember those days. Each of those clubs have their own personality. And so what we've tried to do is, kind of mesh those communities together, those temperaments, with regards to jazz, and, bring that spirit back here. So Lucille's has a very, 1920s, 1930s, Great Gatsby-ish, aesthetic. And what we're really trying to honor is the history of jazz, the history of Toledo jazz, that caliber of musicianship, and give them a place that is, aesthetically designed for great listening. This is the listening room. So, we try to discourage talking during the performances. If you got to take a cell phone call, you got to do that outside of the room. And so during the performances, we're focused on watching these magicians, these musicians do their thing.
Lucille's also has the original Murphy's piano, and you
Claude
have the
Black's.
original Murphy's building.
Yeah.
I mean, just kind of that legacy.
Obviously, I wish so badly, this was like 2.5 years ago or so, and Clifford Murphy could, be in this place. But it is very cool to have individuals who were, musicians at that time, had played with him, had played in this building back in the day. It's very cool.
How do you feel about people comparing Ottawa Tavern to the space that Murphy's gave to Toledo musicians?
It's an honor, of course. I think that place meant a lot of things to a lot of people for a long time. I'm certainly not trying to be Murphy's. I'm trying to be my Ottawa Tavern here, and this place has gone through a lot of iterations. And so I'm really just trying to support art in Toledo in all of its forms, and provide a comfortable, warm, inviting atmosphere that people can come and safely enjoy art, perform art, and maybe have a good cheeseburger or a beer while they're at it.
As a restaurant owner, I mean, what is it like to be able to give this opportunity and seeing people just fully enjoying themselves?
I don't think there's anything that really compares to it, honestly. Come in here, especially on a Wednesday night, there's going to be incredible talent. There's going to be some old school guys or gals up there playing that have been doing this forever, and to see it is really, it's special.
And now that it's a family restaurant rather than more of a bar where younger musicians previously were not able to come in and play, having that opportunity for them to really cut their teeth and get live experience like this, was that a conscious decision that you made?
Yeah, absolutely. There's always a new crop of talent coming in. There's always new blood and so many talented people. I mean, it blows my mind every day I find out of a new band or artist in Toledo that I must be living under a rock, because I never even knew that they were there. And they're so talented and so driven and passionate about their art. And so being able to give a home to something like that is really wonderful.
I'm a businessman, so I think about where's there a void in the market. And again, being a musician myself and not having a place to just go sit back and listen to great musicians do their thing, I miss that personally. And for them now to have home here at Lucille's and other places that musicians can perform in our community, it says a lot about the future of where the city is going.
Thank you, Devin. Thank you for letting me